This is going to be a short and sweet video. This is RO number 5. I don't know if you guys remember RO number 5. This is where I put them black switchers in here. We're having all kinds of problems with them crowbarring and kicking out and just being snotty little pains in the ass. Well, we pulled those all out. I put 2 fuse holders in here, and I put 2 of the new super badass HP power supplies in here. Held them down with a nice big giant solid copper bar. They're not going anywhere. 2 pieces of 8 gauge, one coming off this power supply, one coming off that power supply. We're currently hooked up to ground. We got them wired up for 220. And here's the fun bit, is we got rid of the big contactor. And because these have a micro on switch tied into the blades on the front of this thing, we can turn it on with just the flick of a switch. My power supply underneath the bench is making way more noise than this thing is. We're resting at 15.89, and this is our amp gauge. So let's go ahead, we'll shut this down. Let's go over here to the Alberto watt meter. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. That 120 watts, we're now going to take and dump it into the 6-pill. Turn the 6-pill on. 600 plus bird. And just burying it off the peak scale. So now we're going to turn on the peak meter into 2x. Okay. Needle's full deflection over to the right. You guys don't need to see that. Let's zoom in for all of you watching on your cell phones. The needle's full deflection over to the right. Over here is 2,000 watts. 1,000 watts, as we all know, is between the 40 and the 60, that big hash mark. There's 12, 14, 16, 18, 2,000. 120 watts drive from the Derail Striker 955. 1,600 watts, no sweat. Let's look at our amp gauge. 80 amps. Let's look at our voltage. 15.5. Now here's the fun bit. This is biased for sideband. So now let's run it real hard. Let's go to lower sideband. Let's watch that amp gauge and the volt gauge. 1, 2, 1, 2. The reason we don't have a problem is that because now it's got 200 amps worth of power supply to draw from. 200. 15.6. The power supply sees the load and it increases its output power. Now please note, our cooling fans still haven't even turned on. These are not even warm because they're only pulling out maybe, what, 40 amps a piece? 50, or no, let's see, 120, that's 60 amps a piece. We got all kinds of headroom. Of course, over 1,000 bird because, well, we're on sideband. Okay, while we've got it here, let's turn this down a little bit. Key it up so we're making about 200 watts worth of dead key. Let's go over here and let's take a look at the front of the Striker. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Input tune is perfect. And I mean perfect. Go ahead and we'll shut off the amp. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Our pass-through tune is perfect. This thing is kicking ass. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I actually was keyed up under load and it just turned on and went. I'm telling you, I think, me personally, that this is the way to go into the future. I mean, imagine a box the size of a 2x4 cabinet. like a size 10 shoebox. And that is your complete power supply for a 16 pill. Think about that for a second. 4 of these units, 16 pill. Maybe for heating I'd use 5, but 4. 4 on paper on 220 volts, so that big. Is the entire size of the entire power supply. You don't need any big switchers, no big contactors. You're not switching the 110 volts on and off. You're simply turning on the switches in the front and say, hey, turn on. It's simple. It's simple. All right, so now we're going to go to the 490 Striker. Let's turn this off, turn this down. Here's the 490 Striker. I'm going to put about 200 watts into from the Striker into this amp. Let's get this all framed up again. There we go. Power supply on. Hello, audio. Go up to 2x. Hello. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that makes my nippies hot. We're seeing 2000 peak. Look at our power supply voltage. Hello. Remember, RMS meter. $2,000 watts out. Absolutely no problems whatsoever with the power supply. It runs like a Swiss watch. I told you guys, give me a minute. We're going to figure out something better. I think it was worth the wait. This also has allowed us to save a bunch of weight. It allows us to remove over half the parts that don't need to be in here anymore because they're built into the power supply, like contactor, big on-off switch in the front. It's just blink, blink, blink. This took me maybe 40 minutes to put all this together, and that includes hand tying it. This is a game changer. This is right up there with the lithium batteries. Now, listen, let's all be very careful and clear about what's going on here. I am not the first one to use HP supplies. I am not the first one to ever figure this out. But gone are the days of the 30 amp modules. Gone. And this is by far superior, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a man that likes to run around talking about the big power supplies I built back in the day. That isn't my shtick. That isn't my bag. I don't care. I was on the phone with a lot of the game changers today, and we were talking about these switchers, and everybody was aware of them, but nobody's really dicked with them because they had a hard time getting the voltage to go past 14.3, 14.5. I think we've cracked that code. And I was telling them if we could do a little bit of a calculated math, we could make them variable relatively easily by changing the resistance value of, well, we'll get into that in another day. Needless to say, I think everybody's going to jump on board and start building with these. And I think it's a smart move. They're cleaner, they're higher quality, they're made with better parts. We can get them here in America. We're not supporting China. Well, I mean, HP did eventually at one point. But we're not sending the money back overseas again. Like these little bullshit Chinese transistor or switchers. Every one of these we buy, the money goes overseas. It's leaving America. Or we can buy a ton of these, and they're in the American market. These here. Now watch, there's going to be so many people run out and buy these that we're going to short the industry once again. The industry's going to run out of these switchers or something. I don't know. I found 2 guys just in the last 24 hours that had close to 1,000 of these a piece. There's 2,000 plus modules in the market share. All I can say is thanks to my friends for turning me on to it. Anyhow, my big friend in New York, where this is going to, this will be a good little driver for you on something. Clean little sideband delay unit, 6 pills, Toshiba's, all fixed. All the pills have been replaced. Everything's back up and running, and massive upgrade in your power supply. I'm out of here. We're done. Gentlemen, I want to say thanks to Penna Labs, Excess Power Siglet, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics, MechMan, of course. A giant thanks to all of you guys. And the biggest shout out to these guys down here, my Patreons. Dude, I can't give enough thanks to the guys on Patreon. They have set me free in this game, and I am totally grateful for them. And I say thank you. On that note, you got questions or anything I can answer for you, don't hesitate to call. I did spend from, this is my first Monday back since I went on my trip, and I knew today was going to be rough. I didn't know it was going to be as rough as it was. I stayed up way late last night working on these and playing with these because I was so impressed. Went to bed early this morning, got it back up at 10 and started answering the phone. And I talked on the phone nonstop from 10 o'clock this morning, had to charge my phone twice, charge my headset once. I didn't get off the phone until 1 o'clock this morning. It's now 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out here working on this because I'm so excited about it. I talked my ass off, and I was still like 5 phone calls short of being able to get caught up with all the phone calls that come in before 6. It's a lot. But because of the Patreon supporters, I'm able to take that much time out of my day and answer so many questions. So you guys that are out there that don't want to actually participate in the Patreon group, that's fine, but we need to give them thanks and first recognition because they're the ones that allow me to spend so much time on the phone helping all of you guys. Just another reason I say thanks to them. Let me know if I can help you. Gentlemen, my name is BBi, and I'll see you. Click, click.